All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going on a journey together, going from understanding the foundational concepts of generative AI all the way to practically applying them using some of today's absolute best learning resources. Whether you are completely new to artificial intelligence or you're a developer looking to upgrade your skills, the sheer volume of information out there can be, honestly, pretty overwhelming. But today, we're going to cut right through that noise. The resources we've gathered from top-tier platforms like Google, AWS, DeepLearning.ai, Hugging Face, and Coursera are going to build a complete picture of what AI actually is, and exactly how you can learn to build it yourself.
So, here is our roadmap for this explainer based on those sources. First, the generative AI revolution. Second, how generative AI works. Third, applications and ethical challenges. Fourth, the AI Builder's Toolkit. And finally, your AI learning roadmap.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the Generative AI Revolution.
There is a massive, fundamental shift happening right now. For a long time, traditional machine learning, things like supervised learning models for classification, was primarily focused on analyzing data and making predictions. Think of an algorithm classifying whether an email in your inbox is spam or not. It's incredibly useful but limited. Generative AI, however, is a massive leap forward. By utilizing advanced deep learning and generative models, this tech actually creates original, human-like outputs literally from scratch. Instead of just organizing existing information, it's writing software code, synthesizing complex text, composing music, and generating photorealistic images.
I absolutely love this metaphorical framing from AI pioneer Andrew Ng, which you'll find featured across DeepLearning.ai's courses. It's such a vital perspective. You see, AI is not a replacement for human intellect. It's a collaborative partner just waiting for you to ignite its potential. It is an infrastructure, really just like electricity, that can automate repetitive tasks, massively boost our productivity, and unlock this whole new era of human innovation. But it doesn't work on its own. It requires builders to plug into it.
That brings us perfectly to Section 2, how generative AI works.
So how exactly is it creating these outputs? Well, these systems learn complex patterns from billions of examples during their training phases. By breaking data down into tiny pieces called tokens, they essentially learn to predict the most likely next piece of information. They rely on deep learning neural networks, and specifically, revolutionary structures like transformer-based architectures. Transformers fundamentally change natural language processing, or NLP, allowing large language models to understand the context and relationships between words far better than any older model. Meanwhile, for visual content, we rely on things like diffusion models, which learn to construct images pixel by pixel. These foundational models, like Google's Gemini or the open-weight models over at Hugging Face, are incredibly powerful reasoning engines.
But here's the catch. An AI doesn't actually think. It predicts the most appropriate sequence of tokens, or words, to follow your input. So the quality of the generated content depends heavily on the context you provide it. This makes prompt engineering an absolutely essential skill. Whether you are using zero-shot prompting, where you give no prior examples, few-shot prompting, where you provide detailed context, or even chain-of-thought prompting to force the model to reason step by step, the way you frame your input is exactly what dictates the quality of your output.
Moving right along to Section 3, applications and ethical challenges.
Across the board, we are seeing real, tangible value from this tech. In software development, AI is assisting programmers by generating entire blocks of code and hunting down bugs using tools like GitHub Copilot or Google's Gemini right inside Android Studio. Healthcare professionals are leaning on it to summarize dense medical documentation, while creative professionals use video generation tools like Sora or image tools like DALL-E to rapidly accelerate prototyping. Generative AI is really becoming the ultimate collaborative assistant in nearly every single sector.
However, we have to live in reality, which means navigating the very real limitations of this technology. One of the biggest hurdles is hallucinations. That's when an AI system confidently presents factually incorrect information. It sounds so sure of itself, but it's totally wrong. Beyond that, the tech world is grappling with deepfakes, complex copyright concerns over the data used for model training, and the unfortunate reality that these models can reflect the societal biases found in their training datasets. This is exactly why major organizations like Google are actively releasing responsible Gen AI toolkits to try and ensure we build these systems safely, securely, and fairly.
And all of this leads to a very active debate in the field, as highlighted by resources from Fast.ai. While some experts focus heavily on the existential risks of AI, even extinction, researchers are increasingly debating whether the true immediate threat is actually the centralization of power. So is the risk the technology itself, or the humans and massive corporations who control these models? Now, as an explainer of this source material, we aren't here to take a side on this issue,
but it's a vital central question that the global community is wrestling with right now as we figure out how to build in this space.
Let's get practical now with Section 4, the AI Builder's Toolkit.
We are evolving incredibly fast right now, moving past simple chat interfaces into what is known as agentic AI. And you guys, this is where things get truly exciting. Instead of just answering a question you typed in, an AI agent can actually plan workflows, access external tools, and execute multi-step tasks on your behalf. Think of it as moving from an AI that just writes a piece of code for you to an AI agent that writes the code, runs it, tests it for errors, and fixes those errors automatically until the job is completely done.
To truly harness these systems, modern developers are layering very specific skills to build a complete tech stack. First, you start with core programming, which is usually in Python. Then, you use prompt engineering to interact with APIs from powerful models like Claude or Gemini. Next comes orchestration frameworks, things like LangChain or Crew AI, to build those multi-agent systems we just talked about. You'll also need to understand vector search and embeddings, which is essentially giving your AI a long-term memory bank of your own private data. That process is called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG. Finally, if you are hosting these models yourself, you'll look into fast inference deployment tools like VLLM.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, your AI Learning Roadmap.
When you look at the vast course catalogs available right now, there really is a clear path for every single skill level. If you're a total beginner, platforms like Kaggle offer a fantastic free intro to programming using Python, and deeplearning.ai offers AI for everyone. If you are an existing developer looking to integrate APIs into your apps, you can leverage the AWS Gen AI Learning Plan or dive into Google's API documentation. And if you want to go deep and become a hardcore machine learning specialist training your own custom neural networks, Coursera's Machine Learning Specialization or the Fast.ai Practical Deep Learning course remain the absolute gold standards.
Think of this as your actionable syllabus. Don't try to learn everything at once, you'll just burn out. Step 1. Build your foundational programming and basic ML understanding first. Step 2. Move to Apply Gen AI, where you learn how to write effective prompts and connect to models via APIs. And finally, Step 3. Eventually tackle complex engineering, like deploying those AI agents, setting up vector databases, and fine-tuning models on your own custom data.
And remember, you absolutely do not have to do this in a vacuum, and you don't have to rely entirely on closed corporate systems. You have incredible open-source communities right at your fingertips. Hugging Face offers fantastic free courses on large language models and building AI agents. Google provides access to their Gemma open models so you can build customized solutions locally. By leaning into these open communities, you ensure that you are learning to build fairly, securely, and completely transparently.
I'll leave you with that provocative thought. The foundational knowledge is mapped out, the transition from simple data analysis to creative generation is well underway, and the educational resources are literally waiting for you just a click away. You are the spark. So dive into those Python notebooks, experiment with your prompting, and become an active builder in this generative revolution. Thanks for joining me on this, Explainers, and happy building!